All right, we are back with another episode of Who You Got. I'm Greg. He's Jimmy. Please do us a favor. Follow us on X and Instagram at WhoYouGot33. And after watching today, hit that like, subscribe button for us and recommend us to a friend. And also, please check out our friends at KC Sports Authority as they put on a great product as well. Well, Jimmy, there's no other way to say it. There's a lot of things to apologize for today, and one is my take on the USA and the Ryder Cup because we were not good. Not good at all. We got slaughtered. Although, we tried to come back a little bit yesterday, and that was nice to see. At least we didn't just get completely wiped out. But not a great effort as we got boat raced Friday and Saturday, and the writing was kind of on the wall as we went into singles competition yesterday.
Yeah, 15-13 doesn't really tell the tale about how bad it was. If I had fallen asleep on Thursday night and woke up this morning, I would have been like, oh man, we lost. But no, we got hammered. It was brutal to watch, and I couldn't stop watching it. We were watching it together on Saturday, kept trying to change the channel, and I kept getting sucked back in.
Yeah, because it's like a train wreck. You couldn't look away.
It was so bad. I mean, Cam Young showed up for us the whole weekend. Justin Thomas, after a shitty first session, played all right, but we didn't look good. It was exciting at the end yesterday. Thought we had a chance, and then Lowry hit the putt to put it away, and that was it. I mean, at least there was some drama at the end. I gave up on it midday. I was like, I'm done. And then I looked at my phone. I'm like, holy shit, this isn't over. Ran and turned it on just in time. We saw the entire last hole in real time, and then just dagger.
No, we were right there. We had a shot yesterday to almost pull off literally it would have been the biggest collapse in Ryder Cup history, or maybe sports history for Europe. But some of the things that came along with this, I agree with Keegan and what he was saying. That envelope rule has got to change if someone gets injured and it just becomes a half-half. So Harris English didn't play yesterday. So we got a half point with Victor Hovland sitting out. So Harris English didn't play for us. Victor Hovland sits out injured. And, they get a half point where if we could have won that full point right there, it takes it to 14-14, possibly. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But it's a rule that they were calling for to possibly change. Rory got harassed more than anyone. And I got to say, maybe the moment of the Ryder Cup was when he turned to the crowd and said, shut the fuck up, and stuffed it to 3 feet.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, that's part of the fun about the Ryder Cup, though. I mean, that it's the banter of the competition. I mean, this was the most I've watched of a single Ryder Cup. I basically watched all day Friday, and we watched basically all day Saturday. And then again, kind of gave up midday and got roped back in. The shit talking, the fun they were having with the crowd. It was good. Good for Rory. I mean, look, they pulled it out. Not necessarily because I'm glad Scotty beat him yesterday. Scotty finally showed up. It was a pretty good case one of the commentators making, though, or somebody was making that, and it made a lot of sense that Scotty wins a lot through the process of a 72, hole.
100%.
Like, so maybe the first couple of days, he's not gonna be the powerhouse in 4-ball or but played well yesterday, or played well enough to win.
No, they did. A bad look for us, though, and here in New York was maybe we don't throw beers at Rory's wife. Probably not cool. Like as much as we want to curse, fine. You want to curse, you want to razz them. Don't throw beers at the guy's wife. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's a bad move.
And that's why New York will eventually always come out as getting the bad rap. Like, it's just, what are you doing? Like, they're never going to come back to Bethpage now.
Yeah, you'd think with the amount of money people who play for tickets that a little more class than that, but guess not.
Right, exactly. All right. Well, speaking of New York, let's hear it, Jimmy. How on earth are we sitting here the eve of the MLB playoffs and the Mets are not in it? Walk us through what happened.
Well, they've been terrible since the All-Star break. They couldn't get any pitching going, and then yesterday the bats failed them. Right? If you were to tell me the Marlins are going to only score 4 runs, I'd say, okay, I'll take the Mets to pull it off. But the Mets said, not so fast. We're going to score none. We're not going to do a goddamn thing. We're going to let the Marlins, who at the end of August going into September were the ones that when they needed to win and they got by the Phillies, I'm like, okay, this looks good. So they needed to win 5 of 8. They've already got 4, and then they just completely shit the bed against the Marlins. Well, not to be one up, they said we'll do it when it really matters. But it's their own fault. Look, they should have never been in that position. They should have never been so close. They should have won the division, not been competing for a wild card to begin with. And now, to your point, you texted it's probably better because they were just going to lose the first round 2-0 anyway. I would have still liked to see it happen. But yeah, 2 months ago you said the Mets aren't going to make it, but Cleveland's going to you're out of your mind.
Yeah,
what's the odds on that, right?
At least Detroit did make it because they were close to an epic collapse of all time. So at least they did get in. But yeah, I mean, if you said no Mets, Cleveland in, I would have said you're out of your mind.
Yep, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's jump to that while we're talking about it. You think the Reds, who snuck in over the Mets, can give the Dodgers anything, or is it all Dodgers all day?
I think it's all Dodgers all day. I mean, I'd love it if the Reds did. How awesome would it be if they did? But we're going to be betting the other way because I just don't. I don't see a world in which the Reds get by. But it's good. It's always good to have a smaller market Midwest team get in there. Now we've got. I mean, Cleveland's a smaller market as well, but historically, I feel like they're in the running a lot more than the Reds are. So cool to see the Reds make it. I know Micah from now Florida, previously St. Louis, will be excited about that. So this is when I mean, look, obviously playoff baseball, the average fan the average sports fan watches playoff baseball. But this year, if nothing else, we did have a really fun run up to the playoffs between the push Cleveland made, the collapse by the Mets, the almost collapse by the Tigers. But now we're here. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you get Yankees Sox in the first round. Fantastic.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah.
And we've been great against them all year. I don't know why it wouldn't continue. Great pitching matchup at tomorrow at 6:08. We got Fried against Kershett and ace versus ace. Red Sox plus 137. I love them. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I probably avoid, but I'll lean with the Sox. Sox have got hot as of late. Yankees always seem to choke it away in the playoffs. So why not? I think your Sox will get it. I don't have a horse in this race.
What about the others? I mean, let's go through it real quick. We both agree that the Dodgers are probably moving on. I'm just going to wheel them with everyone I like. I like the Red Sox, obviously. Just what I'm not going to pick I mean, it's a homer pick. I got nothing else to say. But you're kind of a homer here, but not truly. So what's your take on the Guardians-Tigers series?
Yeah, I mean, I was much of a diehard Browns fan as I am. I was never a Cleveland baseball fan. I grew up a Rangers fan because I was a pitcher and I like Nolan Ryan. I saw him pitch at Old Municipal 4 times. But I just always had a soft spot for anything Cleveland. But I do think Cleveland I mean, Detroit has been on this almost historic collapse. And Cleveland has been playing some of their best baseball. They beat them 2 out of 3 last week. So we always talk a lot of these about getting hot at the right time. I think Cleveland's getting hot at the right time. So the fact that, I think on ESPN they had them. I got my DraftKings up. Hold on. Do you have the line on for tonight? I think Cleveland's the dog substantially, are they not?
Well, only because Scooble's going for Detroit.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but they're 110 in the series.
Got it.
Because if they ever upset him in game 1, which is very doable. I mean, get through 6-7 innings tied and it becomes a bullpen game. You can easily win. Plus, you're getting last at bats, which is always pressure packed on the closer. So they win that. I mean, they would immediately flip to a minus $3 favorite probably.
Yeah.
To win the last 2 with the better pitching matchups in their favor in the last 2 games. So that's why it's 110. It's only because they're probably projecting to lose the first game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, like I said, the momentum matters, and Cleveland's getting hot at the right time. The question is, do they peak too early? They were 16-1 over a 17 game span, then they lost another. I think they've lost 2 or 3 in their last 20. But did they get too hot too soon, and it's going to start to fade? That's just all going on field. That's obviously nothing scientific. But I'm going to go with the Guardians. I'm going to go on with the team that's been playing well versus the team that's been free falling.
Right. Yeah, me too. I think it's always who gets hot at the right time, and I think in baseball it's such a large sample size. I mean, look at the Red Sox. The Red Sox were hot for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
So, and when you see teams take off, like look at the Brewers, same thing. They were hot for 2 months.
Yeah.
So maybe Cleveland's just peaking at the right time. And, I like Cleveland to move on. And the other big series, very evenly matched, Cubs and Padres.
I'm going to give the edge to the Cubs. Earlier in the year, I like the Cubs. I'm going to stick to it. It's in Chicago. Yeah, my money's on the Cubs.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to lean to the home team here. I think they are very evenly matched, but the friendly confines of Wrigley Field, I give the Cubs a small edge. So we're going to go lock this in here. Cleveland moves on to play Seattle. Boston moves on to play Toronto. The Dodgers move on to play the Phillies. What a series that would be. And then the Cubbies get their rival in the Brewers, and we move on there. And that'd be fun. We would get Dodgers, Phils, Brewers, Cubs, Sox, Jays, battle of AL East teams. The whole bottom bracket in the AL is the East.
Yeah.
So someone's going to the ALCS out of the East. Those teams are all paired together. And then you get Seattle, maybe Cleveland. This could be a really good DS series, and then into the AL and NLCS. Should be a fun tournament this year.
I agree. This is baseball season is just such a marathon that when it comes down to the sprint, it's always fun to watch.
Yep, and I think there's just so much parity with these teams too. It's kind of wide open, even though the Dodgers came into this year with a huge favorite. I think throughout the 162 games, we learned that maybe the Dodgers aren't a huge favorite, and that's why they're the 3 seed. Didn't even get a bye, and same with the Yankees. The Yankees aren't sitting in the 1 or 2 hole; they're in the 4 hole, playing a team that's kind of had their number for most of this year. So.
Yeah, I think it's the Dodgers will be interesting. Did they just coast through the year and now they can turn it on fast and dominate? I mean, last year they just looked unstoppable. I mean, the Mets were as hot as it could be going into the NLCS, and I mean, they just I know they didn't get swept, but it never felt like they really had a chance in that series. So let's see what the Dodgers do. Are they that team and they can kind of turn it on, or are they, the 3? Are they a wild card team for real?
No, it's a fair point, and I just think this year, as opposed to others, they might be they're talented, but they might be the 3rd best team, especially when you look at their pitching staff. The Phillies, even without Wheeler, might be better, and the Brewers are playing the best baseball in the National League. So it's going to be a fun one. It wasn't fun. The second thing I have to apologize for, okay, and I will. Not bad. I will not say it again. I will admit that I was wrong. I will apologize. Penn State, they're just never going to win a big game. Frank, I tried to defend them. I tried to say, hey, you know what? They were never the favorite. They were always dogs, and we get on them for not beating a top 5 team. Well, this time you had it all in front of you, and you couldn't close the door when it mattered. You couldn't get a stop when it mattered. It's just, Aller throws a pick on the first play after they stopped the 2-point conversion. Now all you got to do is go get in the end zone. You'll have a chance to win in double overtime before you even go to the 3rd overtime. Nope, throws a pick on the first play, stares down his receiver. Yep, head coach that just, for some reason, can't get the big win when it matters at home, and a quarterback that can't win the big game. So, I was championing them all summer. I thought they were the most talented team. I still think they probably are, but not with this coach and quarterback. They are not going to go much further than the 2nd round of the playoffs, just like last year. If they make it, we'll see, because they still have a couple big games on their schedule that they probably won't win because they're big games. So if they sneak into the playoffs somehow, I see the same thing, same fate for them.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, I think Penn State defense obviously let them down as well. Dante Moore threw for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. Penn State didn't run the ball overly effectively, and they spread it around quite a bit. I don't know. 100,000 plus in the stadium. They had a whiteout. It was a perfect scenario for Penn State to put their mark on it. Early in the year for a 3-6 matchup would have been a great, to your point, a great win for them. I still think they get in the dance, but yeah, can he ever win this big game? I don't know. And Drew Aller's Heisman campaign is shot, so that's done. I think we could put a fork in that.
Now, I just want to say, I can't take too much out on the defense. They held the Ducks to 3 points for a half of football. you're at home in a whiteout. You should be going into halftime minimally up 17-3. Sorry.
Yeah,
You
it's
should.
fair. It's fair.
And then the defense came up in the fourth quarter, Jimmy, with a big stop, and they had a chance to tie, which they did. I give them credit for tying the game. But then you get to overtime, and, you get the ball at the 25-yard line. You're going to score more times than not. Defense stopped them for 2 when they had to go for 2 in the second overtime, and then, sure enough, there's Aller with the pick.
Bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yep, it's bad.
It's
Great
bad.
teams win that game at home. It's just that simple.
Yeah, even true championship competitors, somebody that you're going to really consider win that game at home. Like, you don't lose this game early in the season at home in front of your, like, yeah, they did not even to be great, just to be talked about in the upper echelon. So, hey, I mean, maybe Oregon turns out to be that good. They go undefeated, they win it all, and then this loss doesn't look quite as bad. I don't care. I'm not going to give them that pass. You're supposed to be the team. We talked about how talented they were. We talked about their coordinators. The head coach is going to finally get over the hump. Not happening. So they could probably still take another loss and get in. I think Penn State can be a 2-loss team, especially if it's a competitive and overtime game and get into the dance. Then who knows what happens? But at some point, they're going to have to win a big game, and they haven't. So
they have not. And then, the other one of the other big games Saturday was kind of the 2 teams we said we loved in the SEC. LSU, who was down the board a little bit at 7-1 to win the SEC. And then we said, hey, 16-1 on Ole Miss could be worth a flyer, even though they lost everyone. They look like they just reloaded. Look, I thought it was a good game, but the thing that LSU's in trouble, and it's because of, I can't believe I'm saying it, it's because of their offense. Their defense is actually really, really good, and all of a sudden, this team that used to just score like a video game this year is no longer scoring points. And like everyone, when Nussmeier was coming back, they're, all right, well, the offense is going to be good. Not so much.
Yeah, it looks like Nussmeier hasn't taken that next step we thought we would take. You see these things happen a lot, especially in college, because they're young and they're developing. So there's huge strides year over year, and he's just as flatlined, or if anything, taken a half a step back. So I think that is very surprising. What we thought was their big win against Clemson is aging poorly, because Clemson turns out they're god awful. They can't beat anybody. Yeah, I mean, look, the same thing. LSU's a true title contender. This is a game they should have won. Ole Miss is a good team. 5-0. It was at Ole Miss. They lost by 1 score. But to your point, what's surprising about it is they lost and they only put up 19 points. Right?
Yep.
When you're bringing back your potential Heisman candidate winner in Garrett Nussmeier, you've got to be better than that, and they haven't been yet. So, and like we said, yeah, I mean, when you're looking at strength of schedule, that Clemson win's not going to look nearly as good as we thought it was going to. So we'll see.
Right. And then, hey, this was a great call by you. I jumped on board. At first I thought maybe you got to go Georgia at home, but you really sold us on Bama. Good call. Even though they did not score in the second half, it got very scary, but they held on for a 24-21 victory, and Bama's defense kind of really showed up here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Caleb DeBoer's finally got this thing going in the right direction. They lost that opening. I mean, they just ran into a buzzsaw Florida State. I don't know. It was like they didn't take them seriously. Florida State had been so bad the year before, but Alabama's looked good since. I mean, it was Ty Simpson's first game starting in Alabama that against Florida State. I mean, I just think you got to give them a little breathing room, and more so, I just wasn't overly impressed with Georgia, and they also come off a great victory in overtime, but a tough fought game in Tennessee, right? So they come off a really tough game in Tennessee where they pull it out by a field goal in overtime. They had beaten nobody before. They played Austin Peay the week before. So there was nothing to prove to me that, hey, Georgia, and the fact that the line was so close, to me, we said that we think they might win outright, right? But if you want to give me the 3, then fantastic. So I'm glad we got home on that one, made up for our Penn State loss.
Yeah, another slugfest. A&M and Auburn. Their schedule's brutal. 3-2. They're 0-2 in the SEC now, losing a couple road games. Just brutal. But I think Auburn's proven they can play competitive football. Just haven't gotten any wins yet. We disagreed a little bit on whether Indiana could go into Iowa and just blow them out. So Iowa covers the spread. Indiana moves to 5-0. They crushed Illinois, and Illinois came back and beat USC. So that's a good look for Indiana. But I don't think they're going to put up video game numbers like they did in that game at home against Illinois where they put up 60.
I don't think so either. But Penn State, they do at least look like they're formidable, and Penn State has to play Indiana at some point on top of playing Ohio State. So those are the other two games that I'd be circling that I'd be a little bit worried about. The best thing that happened in that game, and we talked about potentially taking that in the super teaser and the over, and we did, and it hit at the last second when the Indiana ran it out of the back of the end zone to kill the clock.
Yep.
Covered our super teaser. It was a winner.
That was the total. Yeah, that was
yeah,
lucky the total. Yeah. Spread was never in jeopardy, but
no,
the
you're
over.
Right. We had an over and a super teaser. We were a point off, and God love it. He runs out the back of the end zone. We have so many bad beats out there. It's good to get a bad beat the other way.
Yeah, it was. That was finally get a good winner. Good call with Iowa State. You said they were going to pound Arizona, and they did. Tennessee, my condolences to anyone who took Tennessee and was laying 7.5. If you were lucky enough to get 7 or 6.5, you got a win or a push. My God, Georgia Tech escaped somehow, 30-29. That was something. Yep. They did not look great, but hey, they came back when they needed to and got it done. I'm trying to see if there's the Notre Dame just oh my God, were they impressive. This absolutely destroyed Arkansas. 56-13 wasn't even a game.
Yeah, that was one of them that we were on. That was nice to turn that game over at midway through the second quarter, knowing we had a winner on our hands.
No, that was not. Yeah, I think it was the first quarter we knew it was over. But yeah, I mean, when they went into halftime at 42-13, we felt pretty good.
So. Not bad at all. Notre Dame's good. I'm telling you, they showed I keep harkening back to the first game when they lost to Miami, but they showed heart. They came back. They didn't lay down. They easily could have, and they played to the end. I thought Carr looked really good. I mean, he was obviously outplayed in that game, but I thought he looked good. I thought he had a lot of poise. So yeah, Notre Dame's going to be here. They're going to get better as the year goes.
Yep. All right. I mean, that's kind of my takeaways from college, takeaways from the Ryder Cup. Again, apologies for Penn State and the USA, which both just did not come through for us. NFL-wise, what are your big takeaways since the last time we talked here? And we'll kind of go through the board.
Yeah, my big takeaways from the NFL is twofold. One, I don't know what's what, right? And it always seems to happen where you think you're on and you're like, okay, we figured this team out, and it's way too early in the year, and there's way too much parity in the NFL, and we just don't know. The only two teams to me that stand out, even though it's bad week one, and we pick are my Super Bowl picks: Bills and Lions. I think they're the two best teams, and I think us picking the Lions to win still makes sense to me. If 4 weeks, quarter of the way through the year. The Lions, let's just wipe the first game off, right? New coordinators. They've looked great since. Cleveland's defense looked awesome last week against Green Bay. The Lions lit them up, didn't light them up, but played really well. And the Bills continue to win. I also think the Saints aren't as bad. Again, they've been in a couple of these games. They're going to be a terrible team, but they don't just lay down. So I think that my takeaway is those two are the best teams. I know the Eagles continue to win, but I don't think they had a passing yard in the second half. Barkley doesn't look great. A.J. Brown's tweeting shit because he's not getting the ball. Something's going to come crashing down in Philadelphia. You can't continue to win these sticky games that you kind of escape. So that's my big takeaway. And I've got 100 other ones as we go through these games, but maybe the Falcons just had a weird 30-0 blip against Carolina because they came back and look good again.
Let's go through them.
Let's go through them.
Seahawks Cards. It was a rough loss on the Cards because they came back and they were getting 1.5 points. And I'll tell you what, I think it was a perfect example at home. Go for 2. It is such a different game if you go up by 1 and they only have 30 seconds because these teams just get in field goal range in 5 seconds now if they need to. But if you put the pressure on a kicker to make a 45, 50, 55-yarder and they're down, it's a whole different ballgame than if I miss this, at least we go to an extra session. Go for 2 at home. You had all the momentum in the world. I was rooting go to, and they just, nope, they took it. I texted you immediately. I said, here comes the game-winning field goal. And sure enough, that's what happened. It's literally unbelievable how quick they get down the field.
Oh, really fast. And I will tell you though, from the other side of it, from Seattle's perspective, I'm happy for Sam Darnold. They could be 4-0. They lost that game the first week where Brock Purdy basically threw threw it up for grabs in the end zone, and they came down with it. But even then, they're 3-1, and they look great. And if you think about their team on paper, if Sam Darnold is at least as good as we think he can be, or like he showed at the beginning of last year, we weren't sold on him because the end of the year. I'm still not sold on him. But my point is, if it continues, they've got two good running backs, Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. They've got a true number one in Smith and Jigba, and they've got Cooper Kupp, even if he's 70% of what he was. They've got a true number two, and they've got a stout defense. There's like, if Sam Darnold can continue to play like this, there's no reason to think Seattle might not come out of that division now. So I thought that was impressive. We were on Arizona. We were originally on Seattle. We flipped Arizona like idiots because that's what you do when you second guess yourself. But yeah, I mean, Seattle might be for real.
Yeah, their defense certainly looks like it could be.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens the rest of the way with Seattle. Vikings, Steelers, and Dublin. It was all Steelers. I mean, the Vikings tried to make it into a semi-close game late, but it really wasn't a great game. Luckily, that's why live betting exists. I made a live bet on the Vikings, figuring they would have to come back a little bit. So cashed a ticket there, but other than that game was not good, not great to watch. And Carson Wentz is just terrible. I mean, he is not a good quarterback. And I know his stat line, he throws the ball 46 times. He puts up 350 yards and 2 TDs, but he can't overcome, I think it was 3 interceptions. So, I mean, he just always throws the pick. And he just can't play football that way. So, we'll see what the Steelers are. I mean, Rodgers looked good again yesterday. Metcalf looked really fast as a receiver. So, we'll see what they have. I don't trust them yet. I'm not ready to say they're going to go challenge for that division. But again, with Burrow hurt and the Ravens playing poorly and Lamar with a hamstring problem possibly, hey, maybe the Steelers at whatever that crazy number was at 1 point, 7, 8, 9 to 1 could actually.
If we go back to the preview of this, I picked the Steelers.
Yeah, well, you didn't pick. I think a lot more people would have picked them knowing that Burrow and Lamar might not be playing in that division for an extended period of time.
100%.
Let's hope Lamar's okay. I don't know if any news came out today on him.
No, I mean, in real time during the game, for Lamar, they were saying that if it was a competitive game, he could have probably powered through it. So it hopefully isn't that big of a deal. Here's my Steelers Vikings take. I won't take this terribly deep, but they need someone else other than DK Metcalf. Calvin Austin looks okay. They've got obviously Jonnu Smith and the other tight end there, but somebody else needs to step up. Rodgers efficient, 18 for 22. On the Viking side, Vikings are going to win 7 games this year. They're going to go 7-10. Because they just are. They're in Chicago's starting to play better. Detroit's in their division, right? Green Bay's got a great defense. They're going to have a hard enough schedule anyway. McCarthy's not getting reps. He was going to get better as the year went on, but he's sidelined again. We know Carson Wentz isn't anybody you can count on. They're going to get a win next week because they're staying overseas, so pound them, whatever the number is, because the Browns have to travel there to play them. The Browns are terrible, and the Vikings are going to have a whole 2 weeks to get used to the time zone and everything else that's worked itself out there. But that's my take. Steelers are going to be 10-7 at the end of the year. They're not going to be great. They're going to lose in the wild card round probably, or they're going to win the division because of the injuries and the other things that happen. And the Vikings are going to be 7-10.
Yep, I agree with that. Updated odds: Ravens are still minus 200 to win that division. Steelers are plus 240 now. Bengals dropped to 12-1 because of the injuries, and the Browns 25-1. The only other one
I think there's value there on the Steelers. I mean, the Ravens could do it, but Mike Tomlin always has a winning season, and the Ravens are just behind the 8 ball. You're spotting them 2 wins.
Packers and Lions are basically flat foot now to win that division, both plus 110. Chargers even money. Chiefs plus 140. Broncos 6-1, which is surprising based on what we saw at the beginning of the year. Eagles minus 330. The Bills are just a laughable number. Colts are even money to win that. The only one there that I would look at, give a second look, just because they were odds on to win at the beginning of the year, and they're 1-3. It's almost 7-1 on the Texans. Could they go on a run and rip off 8 straight wins, and then all of a sudden, you got a great value bet? And the Bucks are minus 330. I don't know. To your point, could the Falcons actually just have had a little one-off here and be pretty talented at 2-2? It's only 1 game back, and they're getting plus 330, minus 330, and plus 330 in that division.
Yeah, Possibly. I mean, I'm Tampa. I worry about the injuries too. Baker had a sore bicep. Obviously, Mike Evans is out right now. They have depth, so it does. They have depth at all positions, but I'd worry about it a little bit with the South. I mean, Jacksonville somehow we'll talk about in a second is 3-1 against all odds. I watched the games. I'm like, how are they? They should be losing some of these. They're not that great. It's cool to see Travis Etienne kind of have a really good resurrection type year, but I don't think Jacksonville's a real threat in that division. So I think if you like Houston, it's really them and the Colts. I think Jacksonville's gonna shit the bed at some point. I don't know. The eye test tells me they're not that good.
Yep. No, could be. You're probably right there. But the one yesterday that was competitive for a lot longer than people thought it was going to be was the Bills and Saints. 31-19. Bills outscore them 17-9 in the second half. But that one, that one went in halftime 14-10. I think people in Survivor were going, could this be the explosion that everyone's been waiting for? But the Bills did what the Bills do. Josh Allen did Josh Allen things, and off they go.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints, like I said, they lost with one score to the Cardinals. They lost one score to the Niners. Like, they're not a good team, but they're out there competing every week. They got beat up by the Seahawks, but that was in Seattle, long road trip, whatever. But yeah, the Bills did what they were supposed to do. They won their four. Josh Allen needs to make the Super Bowl this year. Lamar's hurt early in the year. Patrick Mahomes isn't playing well. Burrow's out. Like, what? How else could it line up for it to be?
Mahomes' team isn't playing well. He's fine.
Yeah, Mahomes play. Yeah, good point. Mahomes' team is finally his surrounding pieces are not living up to expectations.
Yeah, they're not as good as they were.
Right.
And to your point about Allen and the Bills, like Cook is becoming quietly one of the best backs in the NFL.
Very good.
And one of the most reliable backs in the NFL. He's good for 100 yards and a TD almost every game.
Yep. I mean, this has got to, if not now, when? It's all the stars are aligning for this to happen. Yep. So let's see.
Lions just take the Browns to Pound Town like I knew they would. The Lions are such a different team. I was trying to explain this to you because we made that teaser with the total and you wanted to go up, up, and away, which made sense because of the Browns' defense. But this is the thing. The Lions in a controlled environment can score on anyone at will. And that's the problem. And the only thing that happened last year was the turnovers got them in the playoffs. Commanders could score 2, and the Lions' defense was who's who of the practice squad.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to the Lions in the playoffs. So you really were going to have to put up 45 points a game if the Lions were going to make a run last year because of the defense. But now with Hutchinson back there, who's literally in the backfield every time the ball snapped, Lions have a defense that's at least workable. They can work with it. They can make a stop here and there, and they're going to score points. And that's what I'm saying. That Green Bay loss wasn't great. First game of the year, but to your point, it was the first game of the year. After what I saw last night with Dak Prescott, there's a chance the Lions put up 50 on Green Bay when it's inside.
Yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. I think nothing to worry about the Lions. We did tease that up, and we hit. That was one of the things we did hit because we monstered it up, and we took the under on it because of the. But yeah, look, I'm not going to talk more about the Lions. We talked about them plenty, and I love them. I think they're going to represent in the Super Bowl. I really think that they're the most complete team, and I'm just going to bitch about the Browns for 2 seconds. If Kevin Stefanski doesn't start Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, it should be Gabriel, but I don't care. Start one of them. What are we playing for? What are we doing? Like,
no,
you're wasting.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. You're wasting a year.
Yeah,
you're just wasting a year. You might as well play them both. See if you have anything. If you don't, reassess in the next draft.
100%. Like you play the veteran until you're no longer in your standings are no longer in a place where you're going to be successful for the year. Well, guess what? You're 1-3. The season's over. It looks terrible. Yeah. You're going to demoralize a defense that's playing their ass off. Put somebody else in, and if Stefanski doesn't, I hope it. I'd hate to say because he was coach of the year twice, but it should cost him his job because he wouldn't go away from Watson when Watson looked terrible, and we all thought that was financial, right? Well, the pressure is on him because we paid him so much money. Now it's not a financial decision at this point. Put somebody else in the game to develop him for the future.
100%. That's what you got to do. So maybe we're learning the Patriots are just going to be a team that we don't know what we're going to get week to week because they look like, I know it was the Panthers, but the Panthers were coming off a 30-0 win over the Falcons.
Yep.
And the Patriots just took them to absolute pound town. I mean, they just crushed them.
It wasn't good. I mean, maybe this is just the development, what you see when a team is starting to ascend, right? They just have stinkers and they have good games. If I'm a
Yep.
Patriots fan, I feel good about it. Like, sure, we shit the bed against Pittsburgh. We turned the ball over 75 times. Not literally, but 5 turnovers. You don't win a lot of games when you turn the ball over 5 times,
Oh
right?
no, make no mistake about it. This team should be 3-1.
Yeah, right. So you feel good. Those are mistakes that young teams or developing teams get better. It's a year early. They're not. They might be a wild card team this year. My guess is they'll be 8-9, 9-8. Maybe you get to a 10-7, 7-10 if things go poorly. But they're going to be right around 500. And next year is when they'll take that leap. Next year they'll be the Bills' biggest competition. They're still not going to win the East, but they'll be a wild card team next year for sure out of the East. But I'd feel good if I was a Pats fan about what you're building there.
Oh, I think they're gonna sneak into that wild card this year. I do. I said that at the beginning of the year. I still think they have a shot. Here's the survivor one that knocked some people out who tried to get cute with an away team and thought there was no way a rookie quarterback was going to win their first game, and that's the Giants upset the Chargers 21-18. And this is why you got a problem in San Diego, and to get by the Bills, to get by the Ravens if they turn it around, which I'm sure they will. Even the Chiefs, if the Chiefs and the Chargers come down the wire for that last spot or to win this division, Herbert just makes poor decisions under pressure. Still, after all these years, too many turnovers. Your young running back shouldn't go for 128 and a TD, and your young receiver go for almost 100 yards and a TD, and you lose the game. Shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, and worse yet, Hampton only got 12 carries in a game.
12 carries.
Yeah, in a lower scoring game that was in a lower scoring game that was really competitive. So yeah, 100% not. Like, there's no reason that he shouldn't have got more handle. So they weren't getting blown out. Justin Herbert threw the ball 41 times. I understand that Harbaugh is talking about getting him in to the Hall of Fame, making him the reason they win, but like win the game too. The game didn't call for that, and and we see the result.
Well, I'll defer to you on this one after I ask my questions. I mean, are the Eagles ever going to lose, or do they just? I mean, it's just not going to happen because it seems like they were on the ropes. They win. They got ahead, and here come the Bucks storming back, but never could get over the hump. Couldn't put the big drive together to tie it.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll answer it both ways. If you're an Eagles fan and you want to be glass half full, like, we're not playing that great. We got out last week against the Rams with a block kick to run it back. We didn't have any passing yards. A.J. Brown wasn't involved at all in the second half of the game, really the game period. And we got out of Tampa, right, on a road game with a win. We're going to start playing better, and we've already won the games that we maybe should have lost. If you're the other side of the coin, which I'm on, this is not sustainable. Like, you're not going to be able to continue to win like this. Like, you get a couple of these every year. Teams that go 14-3, 15-2 always have a couple of these. It's too competitive a league to not have a couple lucky things go your way. Well, 4 games in, they're gone. Like, your two games are gone. So I don't think so. Now, will it be a couple years ago when the Eagles absolutely collapsed? They went from first place and lost like 6 out of the last 7, and then got blown out by Tampa in Philly. Yep. Right? Or no, I think they're good enough. They've got championship pedigree now. I'm just interested to see if A.J. Brown continues to tweet and be frustrated if they put him on the trading blocks, because at some point, right, he's going to want out.
Texans come back. They win 26-0, get their first win of the year. Hopefully that starts something there. But I think this is going to be how they have to win games. C.J. Stroud's just going to have to kind of dink and dunk and manage it how he can, take a shot every once in a while to Nico. But you're just going to have to let the defense do your thing, and the defense is going to have to hold teams to under 17 points, I would say, for them to have a legit chance to win.
Yeah, there's no offensive line. The offensive line is non-existent.
Terrible.
It's clearly one of the worst, if not the worst, line in the NFL. And yeah, and the defense is great, and they've got good position players. Mixon should be back at some point. Nick Chubb's there. Nico Collins is great. Tank Dell's coming back. C.J. Stroud has shown when he has time, he can be accurate. So yeah, it's a shame. We'll see what happens. I mean, they beat the Titans. I'm circling December 7th when the Titans come to Cleveland is when we might get, so I don't know. So
we call that the battle for the first pick.
Yeah. Hey, you think that's going to get a lot? Maybe that'll get flexed to Sunday night. I don't know. Throwing it out there.
Yeah. It should. It could be a meaningful game for that first pick.
Yeah, you're right.
The Arch Manning sweepstakes.
The Arch that nobody wants now, or just now coming back to school or going in the third round, one of the two.
He'll be there for his senior year. He's not coming out after this. That's for sure.
Nope.
All right. I think both these teams are actually good. I wouldn't look too much into this. It was an unbelievable game, unbelievable fourth quarter. If you had the Rams giving 3.5, we did. Whew, did you escape with one that you shouldn't have won? Because they probably should have won the game by 3, but got free and over the top they go and 20. But hey, if you bet the Rams the week before, like we did, they owed us one. So we
Yeah.
lost one we should have won, and we won one we should have lost. So I'll take it. But I think both these teams are good. I think the Colts are good. I think the Rams are good. I think we're probably looking at 2 playoff teams here.
Yeah, I agree. That was a very good game.
And then I think we saw what we should expect to see with the Niners. They're hurt everywhere. They're going to struggle sometimes, and it kind of happened yesterday. And Purdy made a few mistakes, and they turned the ball over a little bit. And they lost they fought, but they lost 26-21. It was surprising for them to lose to the Jags at home, I thought, but I just I don't know. I don't know how far you're going with Brock Purdy. That's my only thing. And it could be because he doesn't have weapons. So I want to be fair to the guy, but
No,
I don't know.
I don't think you're going very far with Brock Purdy. This is my whole argument why they paid him. Shanahan and John Lynch. I mean, I know they took a swing and a miss on what's his name, and that's what they ended up getting when they traded up to get a guy that's now in L.A. Can't remember names because we're old. Same draft, they drafted Purdy later, right? The difference is they paid Purdy nothing so they could pay everybody around him. So now I couldn't believe the contract they gave Purdy. And the whole argument, but is Purdy not good? Is he not top 10, top 15? That's who you pay. Well, maybe, but it was the system around him that made him that great. He's not going to be able to elevate an average team. Like, he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Josh Allen. He's not, like, so, yeah, he was a really good quarterback with great pieces around him inside of a system. But now that you can't pay those pieces, he's going to be maybe is he maybe a little better Jimmy Garoppolo? I mean,
were you thinking of Trey Lance? So you're gonna.
There we go. Which I always thought, if we talked about earlier this year, he looked awesome. It was preseason, so it doesn't count. But it'd be funny if they came full circle and they traded back for him because he's cheap now.
Yeah, get him in Cincinnati. Seriously.
Give him a shot.
Yeah, give him in Cleveland. All right. Like I texted you, only the Raiders were going to fuck that up for us. And sure enough, the Raiders did it for us.
Yep, they sure did. Unbelievable. I thought we had that one in the bag. We did not.
Unbelievable. We did not. By the way, how many blocked field goals are we going to see now? Did someone crack the code?
I don't know.
Like, we never see blocked field goals. In the last 2 weeks, it's like every other kick is getting blocked.
Yeah, and you kind of understand it when you're dealing with like 65-yarders because they have to keep the trajectory so much lower to get the distance. But these are 20-yard field goals. Like, they should be like lofting them like they have a 60-degree wedge and not worrying about it. Like, just kick it straight in the air. It's going to come down and go far enough.
All right, Ravens, Chiefs. I mean, did we see what we should expect from the Chiefs, or was this just the Ravens had everybody out on defense, and then Lamar gets hurt, tweaks his hammy? I mean, what did you take away from this game?
I think a combination of the two. I think, look, you can't say the Chiefs are fine because the Ravens they didn't look good against the Lions. They had more people out against the Chiefs. It was in Kansas City. So I don't think you can feel overly confident in Kansas City's offense. Now, Xavier Worthy was back and looked good, right? He only had a couple of catches, but just having him out there, I think, he had, 4 or 5 catches. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not like he lit the game on fire, but having him out there as another productive, true deep threat, right? Hollywood Brown showed that'd be solid, but he's not Xavier Worthy. So I think it's good. I'm still not sold on them as being great, but it's what Kansas City does. The sky's falling. Now they're 2-2. It's not like they're far out of it because you're going to have the Chargers at 3-1. So they're right there. I still think 3 teams come out of there. Maybe not my Raiders, but I think those other 3 teams make it, and then I think you get 2 out of the North, and then the Ravens will figure it out. If Lamar's hurt, if he's truly hurt, the Ravens are cooked. There's nothing they can do. But if he's not, as the defense gets healthy, the Ravens will be just fine. I don't think they're going to necessarily win the division because I don't know how long that'll take to get right. And Pittsburgh always has a winning record. But I think the Ravens will be fine, unless Lamar's done. If Lamar's done, their season's cooked.
Yep. And the last game of the night was just 40-40 overtime is just, absolutely bananas. This is my comment here. I said it before on the show. I'm going to say it again. The Cowboys team is just so much different, especially at home indoors when Dak is their quarterback. Whether CD's there or not, Dak, the one thing he can do is put points up for you and put more points up for you. That's what he does. This completely reminds me, this Cowboys team, as I was watching last night, reminds me of, I think it was 2 years ago, right, when the Packers went in there and beat them, just destroyed them in that opening round of the playoffs, right?
Yep.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years.
That's the team it reminds me of. They are awesome on offense. They're going to put points up with Dak and those receivers and Ferguson at tight end, but their defense can't stop anyone now that Parsons gone. So even if they make a little run here and sneak in, they're going to get blasted in a playoff game because they're going to have to score 40 points to win. So to me, I think we saw what we're going to see with the Cowboys. I think they're going to be competitive because they can score points, but they're going to be like how you see the Patriots, in my opinion. They're going to be between 7-10 and 9-8, and we'll see if they get in. But even if they do, I can't see them winning a playoff game with this team.
No, I agree. 40-40. I mean, highest scoring overtime or highest scoring tie game of all time. And it really made just for the headlines today because Mike is going back. Dak, they're going to get crushed. Dak, I mean, it's like we learned nothing. Like, well, I guess we'll just have the same argument another time, right? Because the game ended up tied. Like nothing was settled. No scores were settled. It really is kind of an empty feeling leaving that game. But yeah, I mean, Dallas's defense is porous. When they get CeeDee Lamb back, they're going to look great. You saw it gave them an opportunity to get a relationship going with George Pickens on the field, throwing 50-50 balls up for him, look good. So now they're going to have two really good receivers. They're going to keep scoring.
Yep.
I would have loved, in a perfect world, Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt. We would have had a Dallas Bengals matchup, and we'd have put the over at like 65 and see if we could get there.
85 possibly.
Yeah.
All right. This week coming up, we got some big games. Thursday night, we're going to kick it off. 49ers, Rams. That's going to be a big one for that division. Spread's a little high for me right now, but we'll see if that comes down. Just looking for other marquee games. I think the the Broncos, Eagles is intriguing. Broncos going there. Broncos do have a good defense. The funny one here for me, and I'm just bad luck for the Texans, is the Texans, after getting their first win, go to Baltimore. We'll see what happens. Someone is going. So one of those two teams is going 1-4, which is just crazy. Lions go to the Bengals without a quarterback. Godspeed, Bengals. That's going to be trouble. Commanders and Chargers will be intriguing because Daniels will be back. And then we got Patriots, Bills Sunday night. Patriots coming off that huge performance. And then we'll see if Mahomes can keep it going. I'm looking forward to the Monday night game, October 6th. Chiefs, Jags. Chiefs at Jags. So it's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
We will go ahead.
Well, we'll give you our full breakdown of picks, obviously, on the Thursday. But the games that I circled, you hit on two of them. I really like Denver getting points going to Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia's luck runs out, and I really like Monday. I like the Chiefs. I'll lay the 3.5. I know it's not a great number, but I think the Jags are frauds, and I think Kansas City's starting to play better.
Yeah, we'll be back Thursday. We'll give you the full rundown there. So thank you for listening to this episode. Again, give us a like or follow after watching this. Follow us on X and Instagram at WhoYouGot33. And if there's any game you want to know about, any question you want answered, continue to email us at WhoYouGot33@gmail.com. Jimmy, any final words?
Let's see what happens tonight. Get some money back.
All right. Let's get some money back. Remember, it's never under till it's over.